Welcome back, students, to the last part of the chapter 1.3, The Call of the Soil. We had stopped at the point where Devuhanda expresses his dissatisfaction of having forced to eat the hybrid variety of rice. Okay, we'll see what happens further. And he tells us, here he tells us why this shift has taken place. Alright, with the advent of irrigation, farmers were tempted to grow a second crop, and Kasbai, being a long duration rice, was replaced by the shorter duration hybrids. This is one of the reasons that with the coming of irrigation, that is the artificial water supply, maybe by the use of by pumping water to the canals, that's irrigation. Okay, so they could grow more crops. Okay, the chance of growing a second crop was there, and so Kasbai, which was taking a longer time, they decided to keep that aside. Okay, slowly steadily that got disappeared in this way. And the author is asking Devuhanda, if he is so unhappy with the hybrids, why did you shift to it? Is there somebody who forced you? Okay. He smiled. Devuhanda smiled and he replied that the fields did not have fences. And once the harvest was over, the cattle are released. See, there is a time where everybody goes to plow their fields, sow their seeds, and when the crop is ready, they go to harvest it. So, when kasbai is being planted, it takes a little longer time, right? So, when all the crops are harvested, only kasbai remains. So, when the cattle are let loose, open, they come and destroy the fields. Recently it was in news that in Kerala, many farmers are in a very pathetic condition because their fields are being destroyed by wild animals. At night time, the wild elephants or the wild pigs, they enter the field and they cause a lot of damage to the crops. So in this way, unfortunately, the farmers had to face a lot of damage. Okay, so the same here. That's what Devuhanda says. If my field alone has kasbai, it will be a treat for the cattle. So he doesn't want that. He cannot take that risk. And moreover, he says that we have to fall in line with the community. Whatever the society follows, we have to follow the rules and regulations. We just cannot go against it. And also he talks about another disadvantages of hybrids. And what's that? He says hybrids need more water, fertilizers, pesticides, whereas the original traditional variety of crops require less of water, less of pesticides and fertilizers. Okay, and initially the hybrid ones will show a good yield, but later on you'll have to go on increasing the quantity of each of these stuffs. Okay, that's the water, pesticides and the fertilizers. It's as if the new hybrids had an insatiable appetite. You just go on putting, it's like an endless pit. You go on putting it, it is never satisfied. It's asking for more and more. It is, it's just simply impossible to satisfy the crops longingness, wanting to have more and more of water and fertilizers. And then and you know that too much of chemicals and fertilizers that can cause a lot of destruction to the soil, and it can also lead to soil erosion, and it can increase the salinity and reduce the quality of the soil. So Devuhanda here, one remembers that there were flash floods. There were floods once upon a time, and in the late 60s, he says. So in the 60s, and he remembers how this rice was standing strong. So it's a very strong crop. It did not get destroyed or just simply washed away in the floods. It was standing strong, whereas all the other crops had got destroyed. So such is the strength of the rice, but look at what we have done. So in spite of the fact, that how rich this crop is, having known all the goodness of it, they have kept it aside because it's a short duration crop. They can make quick, fast money in a short duration. As he went on reminiscing meaning remembering, he has some recollections of the past, and we gently guided him back to the reason. Okay, this all happened as a with the conversation that they had, but then their main sole purpose was to find out where they could find out Kasbai. And after doing a lot of investigation, still they were unable to find out where they could locate Kasbai, the seeds of Kasbai. According to him, the only people who still grew it were the Adivasis. So one had to go and approach an Adivasi, a hamlet, that's a small village, at the foothills of the mountains in the next village. So one had to go to the next village, Asarwari. Maybe there were chances of finding the seed over there. And they happened to bid goodbye to Devu Handa, and they are on search for the seed. Now when they reached Asarwari, the first thing what they did was go and meet the Sarpanch. Okay, because they were not fluent with the local dialect, the local language they did not know, so they needed some help who could be able to converse with the locals out there. So Sarpanch has given him sent his assistant Jeevan along with him. So he goes along with the author, and they are going through some deep thick vegetation. They are crossing the streams, the rocks, the gravel, and they have reached a sleepy hamlet, quiet village of Boripada. Okay, and what do they find over there? They find some two ramshackle houses. Ramshackle meaning the houses which are absolutely out of repair, in a very pathetic condition the houses seem to be. There they find a wrinkled old lady sitting over there and looking with curiosity, because most of the people, it's as it is, it's a small village, and whoever comes over there, they are all known people in and around. So they know if an outsider has come, they come to know that yes, this is a new person, not a familiar face. So now Jeevan, the author asked Jeevan, now ask her the question, signal to Jeevan to ask the crucial question. She muttered in reply, and we looked at Jeevan for a quick interpretation. Yes, she understood what was asked, and Jeevan was looked at. Now okay, now what is the response? He broke into smile and informed that yes, she did have the rice. But then villagers are really curious, so this lady was very curious from where they have come, what do they want. Okay, so the author says it was a difficult task to keep a straight face and had to control a strong desire to hug her. He was so happy that he could not have expressed his happiness. He wanted to just go and hug her, but then that would be taken in the wrong way, so he didn't go to hug her. But then after searching for months, we had found the elusive Kasbai. Difficult, it was so difficult, near to impossible, but then now they were successful in finding out the seed. And we explained to her that we were from Pate nearby and needed the seeds to grow it. Then they told where they are from and what they do, why they need it. We asked for 10 kgs of rice. She muttered and scowled. Scowled meaning she got angry a bit. And the reason was, first thing she says, I have never heard of Pate, this village. She is a poor village lady, never stepped out of her village, so, and quite illiterate. So she says, I am not aware of it. And the second reason was that she did not have a weighing scale. 10 kgs, how to give 10 kgs. But then she agreed to give seeds in baskets. Okay, then they said, okay, fine. She was willing to give the seeds only in basket. So we asked for a single basket of rice. And then Jeevan finally asked author that you pay her something, give her something. So he took out a 100 rupee note and gave it to her. And there was a smile on her face, because that might be the first time she has seen a 100 rupee note in her entire lifetime. So she was extremely happy. As we walked by against the fading sunset, leaving behind the smiling old lady, I couldn't help but wonder. The author is in full thoughts, deep thoughts. What is that? He says, nestling in the foothills of an unknown mountain. Nestling meaning an area which is hidden and protected in the nature. She's That's a village which is not even aware that what's happening outside that particular village. They don't know. They are the real people. These people are the real people who are untouched. They don't know what is progress, what is city, what is. They have never seen that kind of a life. These were the people who still hold on to the rich biodiversity. Unlike the people in the urban areas, they would have explored, they would have cut all the trees, they would have made buildings, and some other project would have come up in that particular area had it been handed over or taken over by some developers, right? So this is an area which is untouched, absolutely pure and true, with its innocent people living over there. They had never and they had never bothered also what's happening around, because they don't have that communication, no network, no television, nothing. They had never heard of hybrids, fertilizers and pesticides. If you go and ask them, they would be like, what is that? That kind of a reaction. They just grew their rice and ate whatever they got. So this is how the simple life is. Simple life, simple living, simple thinking. That is what making our life complicated. Here we want all the comforts, and we face the drawbacks. So progress, you see, it has its pros and its cons as well. So we enjoy a very luxurious life, but at the same time, what are the drawbacks of it? We are living in a crowded, polluted city, and everybody is so selfish, self-centered. Okay, all these are the drawbacks. They just grew their rice and ate whatever they got. So they were absolutely simple. They're living for just their survival. The old lady we met had probably never left Boripada. This is the absolute truth. She had never stepped outside that village. She doesn't know what's happening in and around the world. Her world was unspoiled by progress. So she doesn't know what is progress. She doesn't know to read, write, doesn't know to go and travel. She might not know to go and buy some things. Absolutely unaware, untouched and pure, innocent lady. And once again, I was grateful for that. So we even need that. This is the rural life. This is the rural India, which is still existing. Okay. But then the author is absolutely happy of the fact that in spite of having spent so many years in the IT industry, he could still get back to what he really wanted, that is go back to organic farming, and which he did. So this is what he has shared as his experience. All right, so I hope you've understood this chapter. Thank you.